it's Biddy Penny. Welcome back to my channel. Today it's the Oh So Inspired collaboration video for October. Here is a look at the team, and the inspiration card for this month was made by Amy, which is Crafty1 on Instagram. Everything is going to be linked down below. Make sure to follow, it's a hashtag hop, and it'll be so much fun. But there's also a playlist as well. Here are the supplies I'm using. This set here is the main focus for my card today. Instead of white paper, I am using these 2 shades of purple. And why make 1 card when you can make 6? I had a viewer question of how to cut down 12 by 12 paper to get the most cards. And so this video is for you, sweetie. I cut mine down to 4-inch strips, whether I'm making A2 or A7. Then I can cut at 6 inches and have 4 by 6 for 5 by 7 cards. Or I can take that 4 by 12 and cut it down to 5 1/4. So then I can get to 5 1/4 by 4-inch from each strip. Now I was cutting 2 sheets of paper at the same time. I'm going to save that little scrap right there and use it. So again, this is a 4 by 12 and I'm cutting it at 6 inches. So that little scrap I'm actually using as part of the design from today's card, which was the part that I found inspirational, which was having like this highlighted diagonal box within the card. And so that's the inspiration I'm pulling for my cards today. My cards today are very different. They're like Day of the Dead kind of themed, and I love them. I absolutely love them. They probably won't be for everyone, and that's okay. So I'm going to alternate the color of purple. So I'm putting the deep purple on the light purple, you know. And I'm making 4 5 by 7 cards and 2 A2 cards. I want you to see the exact same design in 2 sizes. So that was my goal in the cards that I'm making today. I did some kind of ink blended stamping on this stamp. Always start with your lightest color. So I started with yellow, and then I went in with pink, and then I'll go in with my darkest color, which is purple. And that way, if any ink transfers to your stamp pad, it won't be detrimental. I'm also going to be using the stamping technique that I discovered a few weeks ago, where I stamp a color like in Distress Oxide. This is Twisted Citron, and then I spray it with water, and then I'm going to come back and stamp on top of it again. So I pulled in this little strip of paper, which is what I'm going to be using my scraps. So I love making 5 by 7 cards. I know some are worried about the scraps that they have left over, but they're actually really great for these small stamps. I don't know, it makes fussy cutting so much faster. So I just spritzed these with water. See, I'm going to let those dry. And in the meantime, I'm going to come in with my VersaFine ink, and I'm going to stamp all of the backgrounds in the same place. So regardless if it's an A2 or an A7, I'm stamping this like flourish in the same place. The flourish, the other flourish, and the splatter were my motivation for getting this set. I don't typically stamp or use a lot of skulls and things. I've kind of come off of Halloween. I don't really celebrate Halloween and Day of the Dead. Well, I mean, I love respecting our loved ones who have passed, and so that's how I celebrate that day. So these cards are kind of like, you know, I miss my family. I miss some of my family who have gone on. And so I thought these cards would be fun to honor them. I can put it in my journal and maybe write a fun memory inside, or the things that I miss about them. I don't know. These are very like therapeutic and different kind of cards. All right. I was also really inspired by the paper and the background of that card, of our inspiration piece. So I decided to make my own. I'm using some Dina Wakley acrylic paint here, and you could use any acrylic paint. And I'm letting the paint brush make this shape, and I'm doing some dark or opaque and some more transparent, and I'm just kind of mimicking that paper. I love the way this came together. And now I'm going to go in and add this pearlescent distress crayon for the flame of the candle. You know, I just love that the Day of the Dead is about remembering your past, remembering your relatives, and having a day to celebrate them, and lighting a candle for them, putting out pictures of them. I just think it is a sweet, sweet thing. And I certainly love like the color and texture and artistry that comes from traditional like Mexico. So I don't know. That's what I'm drawn to. My dear friend Rhonda sent me this stamp and die set some time ago. It's probably been 2 years ago, and I love it so much. So I thought I'd create a label, and then this stamp was misplaced. It wasn't where it was supposed to go, but it was very serendipitous. It has a I miss you sentiment in it. So I pulled that and I'm kind of eyeballing it just to make sure everything's going to fit. It's going to be a little bit of a tight fit, but I go for it. So I'm going to stamp this label out 6 times. These are from Hot Off the Press and they stamp beautifully. I think they're acrylic stamps. I never have a problem with acrylic stamps. So they're stamping out beautifully. There was also this really sweet little butterfly, and there was a die for it as well. And monarchs are usually, and marigolds are usually commonly seen with Day of the Dead stuff. So I stamped some of those. And then I went in with like this fern ink to stamp in the I miss you sentiment. One of the eyes is too far into the frame and it just says miss you, but I don't mind that either. My sister-in-law is really into Day of the Dead, so I know I'm going to give some of these cards to her as well. So I love these strips of paper too because they go through my tiny Sidekick really well. And you can actually get a lot more die cutting done quicker when you don't have to pass it through a bigger machine. So I only have one die for this label, and it makes it quicker if I can pass it through this machine, because it's more compact and smaller. All right, now that my candle and flame are dry, I'm going to go in with this Distress ink, which is in the color Old Paper. I just recently picked this up and I love this color. I keep revisiting it. It's like a chameleon. It morphs in some really cool ways, and I'm a big fan. So there are the candles, and I love them. They're pretty dreamy. So let's put this card together. Well, at least 2 of them. I did end up deciding that I like that banner kind of piece, that it's almost like a tabletop piece for the design that I'm doing. But I like it better when the wider part is on the right side of the card. I don't know. That's just what I decided. But as you see this come together, this is the clean and simple version. Okay, I was tempted to leave it, but this looks so like naked to me. I know that there's more that can be done with this card. So we're going to pause here, observe the clean and simple, and then take it to level 11. I can't help myself. I can't stop myself. And I figured there's 2 sides of this piece of paper, and I just got to see where I can go with this. So I grabbed my Lost Shadow ink and that splatter stamp that came in this abandoned stamp set from Tim Holtz, and I am stamping this out. And at first I think, okay, try to be conservative, just put the splatter behind the skull, and then I decide, no, put the splatter all over the card. So you know that's what I did on all of my cards. And I wasn't done with just doing that either. The next thing that I did was I took my card and I poked some holes in it in that top right corner, and I stitched some cross stitch with embroidery floss. Here are the cards. I almost added drops, you guys, but I stopped myself. Here are the two A2 cards. You can see like the embroidery floss. I used the purple that matched the banner for each one, that contrast, and I thought that was so sweet. Here's how I finished off the insides. I can't wait to see what everyone else makes. I hope you enjoy this hop and my interpretation, my inspired card. If you're inspired too, use the hashtag #IWasSoInspired and share what you made. So there's the two cards side by side, the A2 and the 5x7. I would have liked this one if I would have done more to the background, but still, I love them. I hope you do too. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.